PowerWoodwinds is Melda's newest premium library for MSoundFactory. With PowerWoodwinds, Melda is starting to round out a whole power orchestra. First was Power Strings, then was Power Brass, and now follows PowerWoodwinds, which is similar to its predecessors in many ways, just now with samples of woodwinds, namely bassoons, clarinets, oboes, and flutes. Of course, we can also combine all the samples together again. And we have pretty much the same macro style controls like we did with Power Strings and Power Brass. Stage spread, pianoforte, which you can also control with the mod wheel. I think it's really nice how it's fading in a vibrato if you get louder. Dark and bright. You can increase the wind noise. And you can humanize it more or less. And then again, like we had in Power Brass, we have 3 different expressions per instrument. On C0, the key switches first start with all woodwinds, then C sharp bassoons, D clarinets, D sharp oboes, E flutes. So between C and E, you select which instrument is playing. And then starting on G, you select the expression. G for sustain, G sharp for legato, and A for staccato. We have the same amount of tabs as we had with the other power orchestra instruments. Next up is articulations, where you can more carefully edit the articulations and also layer them together. Interesting here, I find particularly the crossfade and bend parameters, which are relevant for legato, which can make your legato style playing more convincing through crossfading and bending as compared to sustain. And you can adjust those to taste. You also have control here over the vibrato. You can turn it up in general. You have control over the speed and over the vibrato delay, meaning if it's all the way down, the vibrato starts right away. And if you turn it up, it takes a bit of time for the vibrato to kick in after you press a key. I have to say I kind of like the default values there, so let's get back to default. A new feature here that I haven't seen in Power Brass or Power Strings is this pseudo round robin. Let's hear that maybe with staccato on an oboe. 1. You can hear how the sound is shifting a bit as compared to when it's off. Or 2. It's giving you some pseudo round robin, maybe by varying the velocity a bit, so it's triggering different samples, shifting it around a bit. That's very robotic. That's definitely a lot more alive. And that's while I'm actually playing the notes, so if you're programming them, this might come in really handy. Let's move on to the Creative tab. I have to say this Convolution engine right here, even though it's been in every power instrument so far, I have never really found it that interesting. But with these woodwind samples right here, you can really create some beautiful sounds with the Convolution engine. For example, with the sustained flute, just the default rectangle shape. It sounds like an 80s PCM synth pan flute. And you can select between many different wave shapes for your convolution. Interesting are also these more obscure acoustic instruments down here, like this is so cool. Let's enable the use pressure so we can use some of the poly aftertouch of this keyboard. Let's hear another one. Let's leave this convolution setting, but change to like the clarinet. Oboe. There is the harmonics, which generates artificial harmonics. Let's hear it on all woodwinds. Dry again. FM. Diffusion. I think this could really use a lush reverb on top. Let's go to the effects section and select maybe a cathedral hall with a bit of a higher mix and a longer decay. A bit bigger of a size. Some modulation. It's a bit, maybe I prefer chorus actually. A bit of motion, pitch, random, sure. With some more chorus voices. Lo-fi. Maybe a bit more subtle. Flanger tape. But also kind of subtle. That's great. Like, you start out with really quite convincing, authentic samples. But you can transform them in very creative ways. And I feel like these effects work so well with these woodwind samples. Of course, you also have the globals page with your standard volume, velocity, sensitivity, and MPE controls. And yes, this is MPE compatible. And yeah, this is PowerWoodwinds. As always with these new instruments, PowerWoodwinds is free for MSoundFactory and MSoundFactory LE owners, but you can also purchase it separately and run it in the free MSoundFactory player for a very good intro price. Thanks very much, Melody Productions, for having me. I have been Sylvan from the channel Send to Sound Factory. See you again soon.